Let me ask you something. When was the last time someone told you that plants don't have enough protein? That if you want to build muscle, stay strong, or just keep up with life, you need to eat meat? Now let me ask you something else. What if that wasn't science? What if that was marketing? The idea that animal protein is superior, that plants are incomplete, insufficient, not enough, is one of the most successful myths ever sold to the American public. Repeated by doctors, trainers, nutritionists, and decades of industry-funded research designed to reach one conclusion before it even started. What that myth conveniently ignores: there are plant foods on this planet that contain more protein per gram than chicken, more than beef, more than eggs. Not comparable to meat, more than meat, with better absorption profiles in many cases, without the saturated fat, without the cholesterol, without the inflammatory byproducts that animal protein leaves behind. Today I'm showing you 20 of them, ranked from impressive to absolutely jaw-dropping. By the time we reach number 10, the myth will be dead. By the time we reach number 1, you'll wonder how you ever believed it in the first place. Stay with me for number 10. The number you're going to hear will make you do a double take. We're not talking slightly more than chicken. We're talking more than double. And it's been sitting in health food stores for decades. And number 11 delivers something that even most animal proteins fail to provide completely: every essential amino acid in ratios that match human nutritional needs almost perfectly. More on that when we get there. If you believe real nutrition science shouldn't be buried under industry influence, hit subscribe. We post deep dives like this every week. Now let's dismantle this myth, one plant at a time. Number 20. Black-eyed peas, the southern staple with a protein profile that most people completely underestimate. 1 cup of cooked black-eyed peas delivers 13 to 14 grams of protein, within striking distance of the same portion of ground beef, which delivers 15 to 17. We're already close at number 20, and we haven't reached the plants that leave meat behind entirely. That same cup also brings 11 grams of fiber, significant folate, iron, and potassium, with virtually no saturated fat. Beef delivers its protein alongside cholesterol and saturated fat consistently linked to cardiovascular disease. Black-eyed peas deliver protein alongside compounds that actively protect the heart. That's not a comparable trade-off. That's a better deal. Cook simply with garlic and olive oil, blend into soups, or serve cold in salads. Start here if you're new to plant proteins. They're approachable and a solid foundation for everything else on this list. Number 19 introduces something most people don't associate with plant foods at all. Number 19. Chia seeds, 17 grams of protein per 100 grams, and one of the very few plant sources with a complete amino acid profile. 17 grams per 100 grams already puts chia above most cuts of fish. But the more important fact is completeness. All 9 essential amino acids present, which is the argument the meat industry uses most aggressively against plants. Chia makes that argument harder to sustain. Beyond protein, chia delivers omega-3 fatty acids at ratios most Americans are dramatically deficient in, calcium levels that rival dairy, and soluble fiber that feeds the gut microbiome in ways animal protein cannot. The complete picture, protein plus anti-inflammatory fats plus fiber plus minerals, exists in no animal product in a single source. 2 tablespoons soaked overnight in plant milk, added to smoothies, or sprinkled on oatmeal. Neutral taste, 0 preparation time, unmatched nutritional return per tablespoon. Number 18 is a grain, and it does something that almost no other grain on Earth manages. Number 18. Amaranth, the complete protein grain that an entire civilization built their diet around, until colonizers burned the fields. Amaranth contains 14 grams of protein per 100 grams. But what separates it from every other grain is lysine content. Lysine is the amino acid that limits most grains, the reason they're classified as incomplete proteins. Amaranth contains meaningful lysine, making it one of the only grains in the world that functions as a complete protein on its own. It was a dietary cornerstone of the Aztec civilization. And when Spanish conquistadors arrived and recognized that amaranth was central to Aztec strength and endurance, they banned it, burned the fields, and made its cultivation a crime punishable by death. The grain survived. Cook like oatmeal, 1 part grain to 3 parts water, 20 minutes. Or pop dry in a hot pan for a crunchy salad topping. Once you acquire the taste, you understand why an entire civilization built their strength around it. Number 17 is a grain most Americans have seen on menus without understanding what they were actually eating. Number 17. Wild rice. Not actually rice and far more protein than the thing it's named after. Wild rice is a semi-aquatic grass native to North America, not rice at all, and its protein content reflects that distinction at 14 to 15 grams per 100 grams cooked, versus white rice's 2 to 3. That's not a marginal difference. Native American communities along the Great Lakes relied on wild rice as a primary protein source for thousands of years. It was so central to survival that harvesting rice were the source of treaties and wars. Wild rice also delivers a complete amino acid profile, significant magnesium and zinc, and 3 times the fiber of white rice, meaning protein arrives alongside a glycemic stabilizing effect that keeps blood sugar steady rather than spiking. Cook for 45 minutes and use wherever you'd use regular rice. Nuttier, chewier, and a genuine nutritional upgrade. Now the protein numbers start climbing significantly. Number 16. Green peas, the vegetable that the protein supplement industry quietly built an entire product line around. Pea protein isolate is now one of the fastest-growing supplement categories in sports nutrition. Companies are making hundreds of millions of dollars selling extracted pea protein to athletes. The source is a vegetable that costs less than $1 a pound frozen. 1 cup of cooked green peas delivers 8 to 9 grams of protein. Scale that across a full day of eating, and the contribution becomes substantial. What makes pea protein specifically attractive to the supplement industry is its branched-chain amino acid profile, particularly leucine, the amino acid that signals the body to begin building muscle tissue. Leucine is the reason whey protein became dominant in sports nutrition. Peas contain meaningful leucine. The industry just prefers you buy the extracted version at 10 times the cost. Add frozen peas to anything, no cooking required. Number 15 produces a number that surprises almost everyone the first time they hear it. Number 15. Sunflower seeds. 21 grams of protein per 100 grams. More than most cuts of pork. From a seed. 21 grams per 100 grams. Comparable to chicken breast from a seed that most people eat as a stadium snack. Sunflower seeds are also one of the richest plant sources of vitamin E, selenium, and magnesium. 3 nutrients that work together to support muscle function, reduce post-exercise oxidative stress, and regulate the inflammatory response that determines recovery speed. You're not just getting protein, you're getting the recovery infrastructure alongside it. The bioavailability argument against plant protein is weaker than industry marketing suggests. Sunflower seed protein has a digestibility score that rivals many animal proteins, particularly in butter form where cell walls are broken down. Raw or dry roasted as a snack, sunflower seed butter as a spread, or added to salads and granola. 2 tablespoons of the butter delivers 7 grams of protein with a heart-healthy fat profile built in. Number 14 is a nut, and its protein content quietly outperforms almost every other nut available. Number 14. Almonds, 21 grams of protein per 100 grams, and an amino acid that improves the infrastructure for using that protein. Almonds match sunflower seeds at 21 grams, but their protein arrives packaged with arginine, the amino acid the body converts to nitric oxide, which relaxes blood vessels, improves circulation, and enhances oxygen delivery to muscle tissue. You're eating protein that simultaneously improves the system for using that protein. The fat content is predominantly monounsaturated, the same category consistently associated with cardiovascular protection in the research literature. 100 grams of almonds contains roughly the same protein as 100 grams of chicken, with dramatically different downstream effects on cholesterol and inflammation. The protein is comparable. Everything else about the comparison favors the almond. A small handful daily as a snack, almond butter on whole grain toast, or slivered over salads and grain bowls. No preparation, the most convenient plant protein per gram available. I want to pause here for a moment and give you something. Not because I have to, but because if you're the kind of person who watches a video like this all the way through, you deserve more than just information. You deserve something you can actually put on your plate. So I put together a companion guide for everything we're covering. Meal ideas, daily protein targets, combination strategies, and practical guides for using each of these plants in real life. The kind of resource that sits next to you in the kitchen, not on a shelf. It's waiting for you in the first pinned comment below. No pressure, but if you're serious about making this shift, I think you'll love it. All right, we're about to cross into the numbers that genuinely break the myth wide open. Let's keep going. Number 13. Quinoa, the grain that isn't a grain, and the complete protein that forced nutritional science to quietly revise its position on plants. 14 grams of protein per 100 grams cooked. But the number alone doesn't capture why quinoa matters. It's one of the only plant foods in the world that contains all 9 essential amino acids in sufficient quantities to qualify as a complete protein by the same standards used to evaluate animal protein. When nutritional scientists first confirmed this, it forced a quiet but significant revision in how the field discussed plant protein adequacy. You cannot maintain the plants are incomplete argument in the same breath as acknowledging quinoa. Elite endurance athletes, whose protein requirements exceed average, have adopted it as a dietary staple not because it's trendy, but because the performance data supports it. 15-minute cook time, use as a rice substitute in any dish, or cook with plant milk and cinnamon as a high-protein breakfast. Number 12 is where the comparison to meat stops being close and starts being unflattering. For meat. Number 12. Soybeans, 36 grams of protein per 100 grams, and a protein quality score that matches the gold standard of animal protein, 36 grams. More than double the protein in chicken breast by weight. Soybeans achieve a PDCAS score of 1.0, the maximum rating on the scale measuring protein quality based on amino acid completeness and digestibility. A score of 1.0 is the same as casein, the gold standard of slow-digesting dairy protein. Plant protein, maximum quality rating. The soy estrogen controversy, the hormone disruption narrative, has been studied extensively across hundreds of thousands of participants and found unsupported by the vast majority of peer-reviewed research. The phytoestrogens in soy behave differently from human estrogen. The controversy was loud, the science was clear. Whole-cooked soybeans in salads, tofu in stir-fries, tempeh and edamame, which we'll reach separately. Start with the whole food before reaching for the isolated supplement. Number 11 delivers something that even most high-quality animal proteins fail to provide completely. Number 11. Nutritional yeast, 50 grams of protein per 100 grams, every essential amino acid, and a flavor that replaces cheese in anything. 50 grams per 100 grams. More than 3 times the protein in chicken. And it arrives as a complete protein. All 9 essential amino acids in ratios nutritional scientists describe as closely matching human requirements. This is not a marginal plant food. It is one of the most nutritionally dense protein sources that exists from any kingdom of life. Nutritional yeast is also one of the very few non-animal sources of vitamin B12 when fortified, the vitamin most frequently cited as a reason to eat animal products. Alongside zinc, selenium, and beta-glucans with documented immune-modulating effects. 2 tablespoons stirred into pasta, sprinkled over popcorn, or whisked into dressings delivers 8 grams of complete protein, covers a significant portion of daily B12, and costs less per gram than any animal product on the market. And now, number 10. The number that makes the myth not just questionable, but untenable. Number 10. Spirulina, 57 grams of protein per 100 grams, more than double the protein in beef. Available for under $20 a bag. 57 grams per 100 grams. Beef averages 26. Chicken averages 27. Spirulina delivers more than double the protein density of the foods held up as the irreplaceable standard for the past 50 years. It is also a complete protein, all essential amino acids, and contains phycocyanin, a pigment protein complex with anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties that no animal food contains at any dose. The bioavailability of spirulina protein is estimated at 83 to 90%. Higher than beef, higher than eggs. The argument that plant proteins are poorly absorbed fails catastrophically against this data point. 1 to 2 teaspoons in a smoothie blended with frozen mango and banana to balance the oceanic flavor. Tablets for those who prefer not to taste it. The myth that no plant food matches meat just met its most decisive counter-argument. The myth should be dead by now, But we're only halfway through, and what follows are the foods that build entire diets on plant protein. Number 9. Seitan, 25 grams of protein per 100 grams, and the plant protein that bodybuilders have used for decades without announcing it. Made from vital wheat gluten, the protein fraction of wheat, seitan delivers 25 grams per 100 grams, putting it squarely in lean beef territory and above most pork cuts. Its texture is uniquely convincing, chewy, dense, fibrous. The reason it has been used in Asian Buddhist vegetarian cuisine for over 1,000 years, and why it became the backbone of the modern plant-based food industry. Seitan is not a complete protein, relatively low in lysine, but pair it with legumes, edamame, or nutritional yeast across the day, and the amino acid picture is complete. Protein complementarity across a day's eating is straightforward, and it eliminates almost all force from the incomplete protein criticism. Slice and grill, stir-fry, braise, or shred, it behaves like meat in every cooking context. Not for those with celiac disease or gluten sensitivity. Number 8 is a soybean, but in a form that requires zero cooking and is available in every grocery store in America. Number 8. Edamame, 18 grams of complete protein per 100 grams, and the fastest plant protein preparation that exists. Edamame is the immature soybean, harvested before drying, retaining all the complete protein properties of mature soybeans in a form that requires 5 minutes to steam from frozen. 18 grams of complete protein, all 9 essential amino acids, with the ease of preparation that most plant proteins can't claim. This is the answer to plant protein is inconvenient. It doesn't get more convenient. Edamame is also rich in folate, vitamin K, and iron. The iron in non-heme form, which a squeeze of lemon juice over the dish brings to absorption rates comparable to animal sources. Shelled in grain bowls, salads, and stir-fries. Blended into hummus for a higher protein alternative. As a standalone snack in the pod, complete protein, invisible in any dish, 5 minutes from frozen to plate. Number 7 takes soybean protein further, through a fermentation process that makes it more bioavailable than the raw starting material. Number 7. Tempeh, 20 grams of protein per 100 grams, and a fermentation process that increases bioavailability and adds probiotics. Tempeh is whole-cooked soybeans fermented with a mold culture that does 3 things nutritionally. It breaks down phytic acid, an anti-nutrient that reduces mineral absorption. It partially pre-digests the protein, increasing how much your body actually uses, and it produces probiotics supporting the gut microbiome, whose health research increasingly links to immune function, mental health, and metabolic regulation. 20 grams of increasingly bioavailable protein alongside active probiotic cultures in a single food. Slice and pan fry until golden. This is the fastest route to satisfying texture. Marinate in soy sauce, garlic, and ginger for deeper flavor. Crumble into tomato sauce as a meat-free bolognese base. Tempeh's firm texture holds up to aggressive cooking methods that would destroy tofu, making it the most culinarily flexible fermented protein available. Number 6 is the legume that deserves more daily attention than almost any food in this category. Number 6. Lentils. 18 grams of protein per 100 grams, no soaking required, cooked in 20 minutes. 18 grams of protein, no soaking, 20 minutes. Lentils are the most time-efficient plant protein available to anyone cooking from whole foods. Red lentils dissolve into creamy soups and dals in 15 minutes. Green and brown lentils hold their shape for salads, grain bowls, and as-meat substitutes in shepherd's pie and tacos. 1 cup of cooked lentils delivers approximately 37% of the daily iron requirement for men, alongside the protein and 15 grams of fiber that specifically feeds bifidobacterium species in the gut. Bacteria whose presence is associated with reduced inflammation and improved metabolic markers. Pair with vitamin C-rich foods, tomatoes, lemon juice, peppers, and iron absorption rises to levels comparable to meat sources. A global culinary tradition spanning Indian, Middle Eastern, French, and Ethiopian cuisines has been building high-protein, plant-based diets around lentils for centuries without waiting for an American nutritional consensus. Number 5 brings us to the legume that sustains some of the lowest rates of chronic disease in the world. Number 5. Chickpeas. 19 grams of protein per 100 grams, and the dietary backbone of populations with some of the world's lowest rates of heart disease. 19 grams per 100 grams, more than eggs, more than most dairy. And chickpeas have been the primary protein source for large populations across the Middle East, North Africa, and South Asia for thousands of years. Populations that, before adopting Western dietary patterns, showed consistently lower rates of cardiovascular disease, obesity, and type 2 diabetes. The protein worked, the data exists. It just wasn't collected in a format that served any industry's marketing budget. Chickpea protein is rich in arginine for cardiovascular support, tryptophan for serotonin synthesis, and phenylalanine for dopamine production. A protein source that simultaneously supports heart function, mood regulation, and cognitive performance. Roasted as a crunchy snack, blended into hummus, used as chickpea pasta that delivers double the protein of conventional wheat pasta, or as chana masala, one of the most nutritionally complete single-dish meals in any cuisine. Number 4 is a legume that shaped entire civilizations, and whose protein content most Americans have never been directly told. Number 4. Black beans. 15 grams of protein per 100 grams cooked, and anthocyanins that no animal protein delivers at any dose. 15 grams per cup of cooked black beans alongside 15 grams of fiber and a concentration of anthocyanins, the same pigments in blueberries, that research links to reduced oxidative stress, improved cognitive function, and lower cardiovascular risk. The protein arrives packaged with compounds that actively build health rather than simply replacing muscle breakdown. Black beans were a primary protein source for Mesoamerican civilizations for thousands of years, combined with corn and squash in the Three Sisters system, forming a nutritionally complete diet that sustained millions of people whose physical development European explorers documented with consistent surprise. The protein wasn't inferior. The people weren't deficient. They were healthier by multiple measurable markers. Black bean tacos, soup with smoked paprika, combined with rice for a complete protein, or blended into brownies that are genuinely indistinguishable from the conventional version. Number 3 produces a number that stops people mid-sentence. Number 3. Peanuts, 26 grams of protein per 100 grams. The same as ground beef, available in every gas station in America. 26 grams per 100 grams, matching ground beef exactly. But peanuts deliver alongside resveratrol, the anti-aging compound in red grapes, heart-healthy monounsaturated fats, and zero cholesterol. The protein is equivalent. The cardiovascular profile is dramatically superior. The cost per gram of protein is a fraction of beef. If protein quality alone drove food choices in America, peanut butter would appear on every clinical nutrition recommendation. It doesn't, and the gap between that evidence and that recommendation is worth sitting with. Peanuts are technically legumes with a high arginine concentration and a solid essential amino acid representation. Combine with whole grains across the day for a complete amino acid picture. 2 tablespoons of natural peanut butter deliver 8 grams of protein. Ingredient list should be peanuts and salt, nothing else. Number 2 brings the highest protein density of any whole seed on this list. Number 2. Pumpkin seeds, 30 grams of protein per 100 grams, and zinc levels that match the argument meat advocates use most frequently. 30 grams per 100 grams. More than chicken, more than most fish. Pumpkin seeds have been used as medicine and food across Mesoamerican cultures for centuries, valued partly for their zinc content, which is among the highest of any plant food. Zinc is the mineral doctors most frequently cite as a reason to eat meat, and pumpkin seeds match or exceed beef in zinc content while delivering more protein per gram. The tryptophan content rivals turkey, the food famous for it, and the magnesium content is among the highest of any food, plant, or animal, supporting muscle relaxation, sleep quality, and hundreds of enzymatic reactions that require magnesium as a cofactor. The protein doesn't arrive alone. It arrives with a nutritional support system for using it effectively. A quarter cup daily over salads, soups, or ground into pumpkin seed butter, make it a daily habit, and you've built the foundation of a high-protein, plant-based day. And now, number 1. The plant food that, when you hear the number, makes you understand why the myth was so important to maintain. Number 1. Hemp seeds, 31 grams of complete protein per 100 grams, the ideal omega ratio, and a digestibility rate that exceeds beef, eggs, and whey protein isolate. 31 grams of complete protein per 100 grams. all 9 essential amino acids in proportions nutritional researchers describe as ideal for human consumption. The protein is predominantly edestin and albumin, 2 proteins the body digests with exceptional efficiency. The digestibility of hemp seed protein is estimated at 91 to 98%, higher than beef, higher than eggs, higher than whey protein isolate, the supplement the fitness industry has spent decades presenting as the gold standard. You are absorbing nearly all of the protein you consume. The bioavailability argument against plant protein finds no traction here. Hemp seeds also contain gamma-linolenic acid, an omega-6 fat with anti-inflammatory rather than pro-inflammatory effects, and an omega-3 to omega-6 ratio of approximately 1 to 3, the ratio most nutritional researchers identify as optimal for reducing systemic inflammation. The average American diet runs at 1 to 15 or worse. Hemp seeds consumed daily move that ratio toward what the human body was designed to operate on. 3 tablespoons daily are on oatmeal, in smoothies, stirred into yogurt or salad dressing, delivers 10 grams of complete protein and the full complement of essential fatty acids. No preparation, no cooking, no soaking. The most nutritionally complete plant protein on this list in the most convenient form possible. The myth says you need meat for complete protein. Hemp seeds have been complete this entire time. The myth says plant protein is poorly absorbed. Hemp seed protein absorbs at rates that exceed the best animal proteins. The myth says no plant food matches meat. Hemp seeds don't match meat. They exceed it in protein completeness, in digestibility, in anti-inflammatory fat profile, and in the absence of every negative downstream effect that animal protein research has spent 50 years documenting. The myth was never about science. It was about market share. And the plants on this list just costed everything. Before I wrap this up, I need to tell you something. You just watched 20 plant foods dismantle one of the most persistent myths in modern nutrition. Every single one. Most people click away before the evidence becomes undeniable, but you stayed. And that means you now know something that most people around you don't. So here's how I want to thank you. Everything I know about building a plant-rich diet that actually delivers on protein, the meal plans, the combinations, the daily targets, the strategies for making this sustainable, it's all in a complete practical guide. And right now, for anyone who made it to the end of this video, I'm offering 20% off. Use the code FULLVIDEO at checkout. The link is in the first pinned comment below. No countdown, no trick. Just my way of honoring the people who show up and pay attention. The code is FULLVIDEO. It's in the pinned comment whenever you're ready. The myth that plants can't provide enough protein was never built on science. It was built on market share, on industry-funded research, on the quiet financial relationship between animal agriculture and the institutions that shape nutritional guidelines. The actual peer-reviewed, independently funded science has been saying something different for a long time. 20 plant foods, every one of them with more protein than the standard they were told they couldn't match. Some with more than double. Some with protein that is more complete, more bioavailable, and more beneficial than the animal sources they've been compared unfavorably to for decades. The information was always there. It just needed someone to put it in one place and say it clearly. Now you have it. Use it. Tell me in the comments. Which plant surprised you the most? Which number made you stop and rewind? Which one are you adding to your diet first? Share this with someone who's been told they can't get enough protein without meat. Someone repeating that myth without knowing where it came from. Someone who deserves the actual science. Subscribe and ring the bell. Next week we go deeper, and you don't want to miss it. I'll see you in the next one.